I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into an explosive, true story of obsession, addiction, and survival, set against the electrifying backdrop of the 1980s rock scene. The name of the book we're talking about today is Those Little White Lines. It's written by a terrific author, one of my favorite guests. Her name is Kaz Piper, and in the book, she tells the gripping, semi-true tale of Bridget, a stunning Australian who falls for a charismatic American rock star and spirals into a world of sex, drugs, and danger. Raw, real, and unforgettable, this is a book, a story about fame, freedom, and self-destruction, and the fight to break free. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us once again here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Great River Print and Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Kaz, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And it's great to see you again.
Great to see you again. The pleasure is all mine. Some exciting news since we spoke last. There's a TV series in the works rather. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, how it starts is those little white lines is from when I was 25 to 27. So that's the story. So I've written a manuscript that was 28 chapters. So two chapters out of that has brought those little white lines. But the TV series goes back to the early 60s and 70s growing up in Wollongong. And it's very, very, what can I say? It was a beautiful time. My parents were very much into the music. Oh, my father was a dancer. He taught ballroom dancing, and my mother used to sing with the piano man after work. And so the music was always there. So that's my inspiration for actually where my adventure started. And yeah, so it was very amazing growing up in Wollongong. And yeah, so the stories, I can't believe it's very surreal for me at the moment, but they've done, well, I'm with Red Empire Productions here in Australia on the Gold Coast and Sound Vision Gold Coast. And they've done my cinematic trailer and it looks really good. I don't know whether they've shown that to you yet or.
I haven't seen it. I can't wait to see it. I understand you're
Okay.
also collaborating with your US partner, OMG Organic Media Group. So it
Yes.
sounds terrific. And of course, the inspiration behind this is your terrific book. Um, you know,
Mhm.
and tell us a little bit about the story. You were a young girl, a beautiful girl, still are a beautiful woman, but got caught
Thank
up
you.
into that rock and roll scene in the 1980s. Tell us a little bit about your life at that time.
At that time, I was living in Sydney and I was working in a restaurant. And that night, one particular night, my girlfriend came to visit me after work, and we decided to go into King's Cross in Sydney, which was very known for crime, corruption, and everything that goes
And
with the
craziness, crime,
and
corruption, and
craziness.
craziness. Yep.
Yeah, it was amazing. And we were at this nightclub called the Cauldron, and that's where I met Jose, who took me on this wild adventure that turned into my worst nightmare. But
Mm.
I survived. So yeah, so the book is about survival basically and closure for me. And yeah, it was, good times, bad times, fun times, but at the end of the day, it was pretty much very scary time too. So, but I've survived.
You basically fell in love with an
Yeah,
American rock and roll star, right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah, he
it's
was
a name, you're
wonderful.
not going to release the name
No,
out of respect for his privacy, but it's a name everybody would know and
absolutely.
would be shocked by the revelations that are contained within this book, right?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
It must have been a surreal time because you fall in love with a guy that every girl in the world is in love with from a distance, but you're seeing an up close reality that in part is great, in part, of course, is not so great. So tell
Mhm.
us, what were the great times? I guess, were you touring with him at one point as well?
Yes, yeah. We did a lot of touring, and because I was an illegal immigrant
Mhm.
at the time, I could not leave the United States. And Jose was always traveling,
Mhm.
and I was always home with his mother, who Elvira. She did not like me at all, and she made it very difficult for me. So we had a nanny that looked after his two boys. So she was my confident sort of person that I could rely on, and she knew my reason being there. And yeah, she was my only contact of what would you say, just of being able to talk about my life in America.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Let me ask you this. At one point, of course, the story gets very dark. The relationship gets dark, the lifestyle is dark. What was the low point and how did you break free?
well, it ended up the first 14 months I was there was beautiful. It was, dream came true. And then he started to be a very controlling person. So he was abusive mentally and physically. And I really had no way of getting out of that situation. But I ended up getting out, which is in the book. And
Mm,
I can't say too much about that. But yeah, it was beautiful, but he was controlled by his mother. His mother really, it was his mother's boy, and
mm.
it was like whatever she said went. And yeah, I was like I was a prisoner there for so long. And yeah, it was very scary, but it was good times as well. So I
Yeah.
met some very interesting people, musicians on the way of our tour when we went through tours or on tour.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, so it was just an American dream turned nightmare, basically.
Exactly, exactly. Captured very, very well within the pages of this book. And of course, your TV
Mm.
series will eventually get to starting your earlier life. It's starting with your TV series, right? But it'll gradually get
Yes.
up to that aspect of your life as well when you were in love with this rock and roll star, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay,
It's yeah. The TV
wonderful.
series starts in Wollongong, yeah. And goes back to my younger days. There was a lot happening in those days. There was a situation where we had in our street there was 52 children, because we lived in a commission area, a housing commission area,
Mhm.
and there was a pedophile that lived next door,
Mhm.
and he had his way with myself, my sister, and a few other kids in the street. And it was only because there was a little boy that was seriously um, sorted, whatever. He
Mhm.
was attacked, and then that they called the police in, and then the police end up cruising around, or not cruising around, just knocking on doors, wanting to know if there was any other children that were affected with this horrible person. And because in those days it was all pushed under the table and it wasn't mentioned, and it was just really difficult times. And being an indigenous having an indigenous background,
Mhm.
it was pretty, hard times there too. But there was good times growing up with the music and the bands that would come down to Wollongong from Sydney.
Mhm.
And yeah, we used to go to the pubs and clubs and listen. Yeah, it was really epic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we said in the beginning, it was kind of the best of times and the worst of times, which
Oh
many
yeah.
great stories are, which is what makes your book so compelling and which is what will make your TV series so compelling. I understand it is supporting domestic violence charities such as Rise Up
Yes.
Australia and Broken to Brilliant as well. So that's great. And you also got a huge endorsement. Everybody in this country knows Susie Quattro. I think she was
Yes.
Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days back in the 1970s, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And when was it? A couple of weeks ago, I think it was Yeah, 3 weeks ago she was touring and she played in Mackay, where I live in Queensland. And I had the opportunity to go and see her, and we got photos and we caught up, and that was really good. So for her to come to Mackay, which is a small town,
Yeah.
it's it's not a city or whatever. So that was great. So I caught up with her. But yeah, with Broken to Brilliant and my charities that I support, that are against domestic violence
Mhm.
and Rise Up. And yeah, so it was a very emotional time for me, but a lot of closure with the book. But the TV series is going to be really good. I can't
Wonderful.
go into it too much, but there is a cinematic trailer coming out.
Mhm.
They do have a teaser at the moment that's out there, but I think it's in 2 weeks' time. The cinematic trailer, the
Will
main
be
one, will be
released.
out, so it will
Wonderful,
be
wonderful.
released. Yeah,
And you're working
and
with Great Raiders Media, helping you with promotion?
yeah, absolutely. They've been fantastic. And also, as I mentioned, with Red Empire Production and Sound Vision Gold Coast with
Mhm.
OMG Media, they're the team. So they're who I'm with at the moment. And it's really good because where they are based on the Gold Coast in Australia, in Queensland, I should say,
Mhm.
there's all the movie productions are happening there at the moment. So, my girlfriend, she just picked up what was it, Ron Howard, took him around. She's picked up Chris Hemsworth to, a lot of celebrities. And yeah, so it's been really good with that. So she's got a lot of connections as well. So I'm happy that it's actually going off in Australia and especially on the Gold Coast where I did have residence there for quite some time. So it's all good.
Wonderful. And
Yeah,
like many TV series, they start in the land down under and they make their way around the globe to the United States. So it'd be great to see this show distributed here on a platform like Netflix or
yeah,
Amazon Prime or something like that, because I think we would really love it. And there was a great series on Cinemax recently, or they call it Max now, I guess, called Idol. And it looked at
yes.
the rock and roll life. And this story is even more authentic and I think captures a more wonderful time in rock and roll, the 1980s. Before we leave you today, Kaz, anything else you want the folks at home to know about your book, your life, or your TV series?
Well, no, stay tuned. But if you could look me up on my Facebook or Instagram,
Mhm.
kazpiper.com, Kaz Piper Official with Instagram, and Kaz Piper Author on Facebook. So, and I'm just learning about TikTok at the moment. Apparently, that's the way to go. And yeah, so stay tuned. And I just want to thank Great Writers Media again for giving me the opportunity to have this conversation with you, Logan. I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Always great having you on the show. You are always welcome. The name of the book that
Yeah,
Kaz Piper has written, which is just terrific, is called Those Little White Lines. It tells the gripping story, a semi-true story of Bridget, a stunning Australian who falls for a charismatic American rock star and spirals into a world of sex, drugs, and danger. The book is real, raw, and unforgettable. It is a story about fame, freedom, and self-destruction, and the fight to break free, and soon to be a TV series. We are looking forward to it. Can't wait. Kaz, thank you
yeah.
so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.